the new 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid. It's next level luxury. By Bank of America, life's better when we're connected. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing too high.
The Astros have just one game left on this homestand. It's the series finale between the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros. Astros trying to salvage today. They have Joe Musgrove on the mound, the right-hander, coming off a pretty good start. We're going to talk about it coming up next from here right at Minute Maid Park. Don't go anywhere. From the Rangers in this series as they are down 2-0 so far. Last day of the homestand. Joe Musgrove taking the mound, facing the Rangers for the third time in his career. One was great. One, he said he wished it could have been a little bit better. However, tonight we'll have the home crowd behind him as they cheer him on right now, taking the mound. Tonight's Kubota pitching performance looks at Joe Musgrove's numbers right here at Minute Maid Park, and pretty good. He's had 4 games. 3 of those have been starts. A 1.19 ERA, 26 strikeouts, so feeling comfortable on this particular mound. And since we've seen Joe Musgrove, he's been challenged with some tough lineups, including this one, but other teams that he's faced, all you might see in the playoffs. And for more on this, I'm going to send it up to Alan Ashby on Musgrove and the challenge and how his learning curve probably a little quicker, has to be a little quicker than most. Ash?
Yeah, Julia, I totally agree. I think it's a wonderful thing to get a guy that's prepared and ready to face big league hitters, to face good teams. And I believe Joe Musgrove believes that of himself, that he can compete and win at this level, and he's been facing some very good teams. You can see right on down that list a number of teams, 5 in the last 6 starts, clubs that are or were contending for postseason play. And though he's been roughed up sometimes, he has also pitched well. I think inside Joe Musgrove, he is developing to be a guy who can pitch at this level. Once you see success against good players, I think it's a big boost.
Very good seasoning right now for Joe Musgrove here in September, facing this hot Texas Ranger club with the best winning percentage in the American League, .596. They go with left fielder Carlos Gomez, center fielder Ian Desmond, DH Carlos Beltran, third baseman Adrian Beltre, second baseman Rougned Odor, catcher Jonathan Lucroy, first baseman Jurickson Profar, right fielder Nomar Mazara, shortstop Elvis Andrus, and their pitcher is lefty Derek Holland. Yu Darvish had been scheduled to pitch tonight originally, but after the win last night for Texas, the skipper Jeff Bannister changed his starter to Holland for this game. Now we get started with Musgrove and Gomez squaring off. And Musgrove, as Julia has detailed, got his first major league start here against Yu Darvish. That was August 7th. Pitched very well. 7 innings, 1 run. Got a no decision. And then at Texas, lost to Holland 12-4. September 3rd, giving up 5 runs in 4 1/3. Strike 1 for Musgrove. Joe coming off the 2-0 loss to the Cubs, in which he pitched very well Friday night. Gomez has 9 homers. He's driven in 41 with a .212 average. And he went through on that one on a foul tip. Ted Barrett is the crew chief and home plate umpire, and it's 0-2. Breaking ball outside and a swing. Gives Musgrove a strikeout on the appeal to Will Little at first base.
Let's take a look at the Supermo presented by Mattress Firm and see what we find on that bat. Did it go through the strike zone? Absolutely. Yeah. And as Brownie said, a pitch, the slider, that was not close to the strike zone.
Ian Desmond will follow. .290 for Desmond. 22 homers, 82 runs batted in. He's been a .301 hitter against Houston pitching. That's strike 1 for Musgrove.
Last night the Rangers, first time through the order in particular, taking a lot of pitches, so Musgrove might be working on that theory.
0-2 as he snaps that one off at 84. And not chasing there. Desmond has a 1-2 count. Texas won in 12 innings, 4-3, and then 3-2 in the first 2 games of this series. Jake Marisnik's in right center. Desmond fouls it back. Rangers now 33-10 in 1-run games for a .767 winning percentage in games decided by a single run. They've done it twice more in this series. They're 8-1 against the Astros this season in 1-run ball games. Chopped, and Musgrove comes in for a difficult play here. He can't pick it up. It'll be an infield hit for Desmond. That ball just stopped cold.
Bedded down like a spinning golf ball, and that's really tough. Musgrove, if he picks this up, he's still got to be able to clear that base path and throw from the other side, and not an easy play at all.
Carlos Beltran comes up with a runner at first and 1 out with a .296 average, 27 homers, 87 runs batted in. He's hit .321 against Houston pitching. 2 homers, 9 runs batted in, and the throw goes high. Marwin Gonzalez comes off the base to snag it. With the shift on, Altuve is at the edge of the grass. Correa also swings over to the first base side of second. 419 career homers for Beltran, with more than 1,500 runs batted in. Heard a stat last night that you may not have heard. Beltran and Beltre, both with more than 1,500 runs batted in their careers, and neither with a World Series ring. Ash, apparently that's the first time that's happened on a team.
Yeah, that's surprising in either case, but Carlos Beltran, you would think somewhere along the line he would have been on a championship club.
Well, he certainly gave the Astros every shot at being one with the postseason he put together for them in 04. Desmond's 20 for 25 in steals. Now Beltran works the count to 2 balls, no strikes.
We talked about the Rangers, Brownie, being really good in 1-run games here in Houston this year. 5 1-run victories.
Two and 1. Yeah, they have had the formula. They did it again last night, coming from behind with 2 in the 9th inning to win at 3-2. Now it's a 3-ball 1-strike count with Beltre on deck. Last 13 games, Beltran's been a .371 hitter. And that is after he snapped an 0 for 32 drought, which was the longest of his career. That's right there for him, and he fouls it back. Full count now.
Got these clubs in the same division, meeting up 19 times on seasons. The Rangers, in those 8 games previously played now at Minute Maid Park this year, only 1 game has been won by the Rangers, not by 1 run or extra innings or both. So it's been very close.
Runner going. That's ripped into the right field corner. That may score Desmond. He's coming to third base. Spike Owen's going to send him home. Here's a throw coming in. Correa will not make the relay, and it's 1-0 Texas on the double by Carlos Beltran.
Taking a look now at our MD Anderson strike zone. Watch this slider coming in but not down, and just not enough snap coming downward to keep Beltran off of that baseball. He put the barrel on it very well.
Evan Gattis went out to the mound now with Beltran at second base. Adrian Beltre comes up. Desmond scoring the first run of the game after his infield hit. Beltre's driven in 97. He has 30 homers at a .298 average. He homered last night. This is a foul ball for strike 1. That gives him a 6-game hitting streak. And Beltre with another banner year. Has his 9th season with at least 25 homers. That's the 4th most by a third baseman. Eddie Matthews had 12. Mike Schmidt 12. Thomas Ramirez 10. It's in for a strike. 0-2. Musgrove 2-4 with a 4.78 ERA, is making his 8th major league start. He's walked 11 and struck out 41. Up the middle. Altuve gets in front of it. Strong throw to get Beltre. Beltran to third, 2 outs.
Looking now at our Ford spray chart. Rougned Odor just been devastating against the Astros this year. And you're looking at the hits he's come up with against Houston, fastballs and off speed. And even when the Astros have come up and in, and that generally is an area pitchers will try to put a guy away with, he's had the barrel on it. He handles the outside corner very well, doesn't hit a lot of balls to left field, but somehow he'll get out there, stick barrel to it, and drive the baseball.
Odor's driven in 85 this season with 31 homers and a .282 batting average. That's in tight to him for ball 1. Glittering year for Odor. He had 3 hits and 3 runs batted in Monday night, including the game-deciding homer in the 12th inning. This bouncer goes to Marwin Gonzalez left, tossing to Musgrove for out number 3. 1 run scoring on 2 hits and a man left. Rangers 1, Astros coming up. Off in right field, it's Alex Bregman at third base. Jose Altuve plays second, batting third. Then at shortstop, Carlos Correa, DH Yuli Gurriel, catcher Evan Gattis, first baseman Marwin Gonzalez, left fielder Teoscar Hernandez, center fielder Jake Marisnick.
And on the mound, it's the veteran Derek Holland, left-hander. 7-7 on the year with a .474 ERA. Left-handers have had a bit of a rough time, but those numbers are not overwhelming against the lefties. But the Astros featuring mostly right-handed bats.
Holland was not originally scheduled, as we mentioned, to start this game. He has spent time on the 60-day disabled list this season. Shoulder inflammation. First pitch is in for strike one to George Springer. 253 for George, 26 homers, 75 runs batted in. Trying to shed an 0 for 16 slump right now. He takes that and falls behind 0-2.
In fact, to be completely clear, all right-handed bats tonight for the Astros, trying to take advantage of that edge against Holland.
Holland gets a foul ball from Springer to keep the count right where it is at no balls, 2 strikes. The Astros as a team have hit only .233 here at Minute Maid Park this season. They've averaged a little bit over 4 runs per game, just a shade over. Foul away. So the hitting has really been lacking for them in this ballpark, and yet they've pitched so much better here that they have a winning record at home of 40-33. Yu Darvish, the man who was originally down to start this game, will get some extra rest.
You got touched up a little bit last time out against Houston.
1-2. Astros 1-4 in this homestand.
Good. I was going to say Holland 5-2 lifetime in 12 starts against Houston.
Springer hits a high one to left field, going back. Gomez now looking up, and Springer will take the tour. That's the way to snap an 0 for 16. Home run number 27 ties it at 1.
I don't know what anybody else in the ballpark thought, but that was just like a pop fly that other guys would hit and would wind up 20-25 feet shy of the wall. And it just carried and carried. George Springer is that strong. Watch this ball come off the bat. Down and in. And just a towering shot. But it kept on going.
That's his 8th career leadoff homer. Tying Craig Biggio's 8 from 2001 for tops in club history. And that makes it 1-1. There's strike one to Bregman.
Don't know how many others would notice, but George did that right heel off the ground in that swing.
Elvis Andrus goes out Bregman. Bregman hitless in this series. 0 for 1 now, and Altuve will follow.
Watch this swing from George. And the right foot actually gets involved, driving that back leg a little bit rather than collapsing on it. Watch the right heel. See how he gets it off the ground? That looks like George taking batting practice. Oftentimes in games, that right heel would just lock down and he falls backwards.
His 8 leadoff homers is the top figure in the American League. Jose Altuve hit his 24th homer last night. He's driven in 94. There's ball 1 to Altuve, leading the league with a .340 batting average. He has 195 hits. 3 of those coming in last night's game. He shoots one to left field. Gomez back, leaping at the wall. That's off the wall. Altuve heads for second base. He continues his comeback from a slump. That's his 39th double.
Well, you got some right-handed bats trying to take advantage of the lefty out there that has been susceptible to righties. See if this is off the end of the bat, just a hair. Maybe so. And he got a nice pitch to hit. Yeah, there you go, right off the end of the bat a bit. Otherwise, he drives this easily out of here.
Well, that was a pretty picture on that extension on his swing when
Sure
he made
was.
contact.
Yeah, that might have been a catchable ball, but Carlos Gomez kind of lost sight of the baseball while battling the wall.
Astros fans ready for more of that. Carlos Correa steps up. Springer homer. 1 out later, Altuve double. Now Correa would like to follow suit with the extra base hit theme. Altuve takes off. Here's the throw, and it's there early. Safe! Wow. Now Beltre wants a challenge on that safe call by Angel Hernandez at third base.
Yeah, I think ultimately we're going to find out if a tag was actually applied. That was really an excellent job by Jonathan Lucroy. Good throwing catcher. Watch how he just stays in position. Right foot never moved, and he comes up firing a strike to third base. But is there a tag? Even on the back of the leg there, that might have been ahead of Altuve. Doesn't appear to catch the foot coming in. It's a tough call, but we'll see if this gets reversed.
Angel Hernandez had a good look at it. That tag might have been in the hamstring area. Really close as to whether Beltre got the tag on before Altuve arrived. Looked like Altuve was popping up. And that type of slide may have slowed him down a little bit more.
Oftentimes the edict on running from second base is if you want to go and you're not going to have the green light taken from you in the case of Altuve, you better make sure you've stolen the bag. And is there a tag there? If there is a tag, foot is yet to get on the bag.
They called him out. Caught stealing from 2 to 5.
Again, for Jonathan Lucroy, couldn't do it better.
Lucroy has thrown out 25% as a Ranger. Now it's Correa with a 1-0 count coming back into the batter's box. It took 50 seconds to review that. 272, 19 homers, 90 runs batted in for Carlos. He has gone 6 for 11 against Holland with 2 homers, 3 runs batted in. Holland clips the corner for a strike, evening the count at 1-1. Correa is 0 for 6 in this series. It's 1-2 to Carlos.
Carlos has had numerous passive at bats where he takes 1 or 2 strikes in the sequence and puts himself in a hole.
Holland buries that slider. 2-2. Last time out, Holland in Seattle lost 6-3, giving up 10 hits and 4 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings. Time called by Correa. 1-1 game. Now it's a full count on Carlos. Holland has made 4 starts since he returned from the disabled list. And the first 2 were very good, both 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. He comes back to strike out Correa, and it's 1-1. Springer tying it on his 27th homer, getting his 76th run batted in. 1-1 after 1.
That we love showing your comments and reactions from Twitter during the telecast. Be sure to mention @RootSportsSW in your tweet for the best chance to see it on air. Astros looking to grab a W before they head off for the road, and most importantly, get a win against these Texas Rangers. And again, AJ Hinch asked, what is it about this Rangers team that have had such success against your team this year? And today he said, you know what, they haven't beaten us today. And that's the mindset this team has to have from here on to the end of the season, guys. It doesn't matter who they're playing, really, each and every day. They can't change the past. And so that is the mindset that he is trying to give to his players, and that's what they're going with.
The only game remaining between these two in the season series. There's strike one for Joe Musgrove to Jonathan Lucroy, a 300 hitter with Texas, 299 overall this season. But the Milwaukee numbers included, giving him 23 homers, 75 runs batted in. Yeah, it's been rough sledding. 15-3 Texas versus Houston this year. Since these two teams started playing each other, Texas leads 95 wins to 52. In for a strike to Lucroy, who lives in Louisiana now. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
This is the 13th and final game of that stretch of 13 games against first place clubs. And it's had its ups and downs during the stretch.
Overall 4 wins, 8 losses during that stretch against first place clubs for Houston. Rolled slowly. Here's Musgrove going. Marwin tossing to him, and he gets to the bag in time for out number 1. And as we look at the head-to-head matchups, you see only 3.4 runs per game for the Astros against the Rangers, 4.7 against everybody else. Batting average really low against the Rangers, and it's not as if the Rangers have a great ERA. Their ERA 11th best in the American League, Ash, but for whatever reason the Astros have not been able to solve this Texas pitching staff.
Sometimes you might see numbers like this and they're influenced by 2 or 3 big games of scoring in the Rangers set of numbers there. In the case of this series, that hasn't been what it's been about. It's been about beating the Astros by a run or 2, very close ball games time and time again.
Jerks and Profar. Ball 1. Now is out in front, 2-0 in the count. Profar starting at first base tonight is at .252 with 5 homers. He's driven in 19. Extremely versatile player. Changeup comes in. That makes it 2-1. Omar Mazara's on deck. Musgrove had his first major league start against the Rangers, and Yu Darvish here August 7th pitching very well, but trailed 1-0 when he came out. Out to center field, Jake Marisnick. 2 outs. For Joe at home in 4 games, 3 as a starter, a 1-1 record, a 1.19 ERA. He has some confidence on this mound at Minute Maid Park. Mazara has 4 hits and 25 at bats on this Texas road trip. The 10-game trip ending tonight. The Rangers are 5-4. 268 for the season, 17 homers, 57 driven in. He's gone 0 for his last 10. Fouling that one for strike 1. So with the Rangers beating the Astros 15 times and losing 3. That's a 12-game advantage in the season series, and they're 11.5 games in front of the Astros in the standings in the AL West. Game worn. Springer.
I sense a couple of doubles with that jersey diving into the bag.
Yeah. You get some of those Springer jerseys with grass stains on the front as well. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Great plays being made in right.
Does he get the dirty uniform award for the Astros for this season?
Well, he's got pretty stiff competition from Altuve. I know that.
Yep. Still 1-2. Mazara homered off Musgrove in the game here when they last met. Well, that was at Texas, rather, on September 3rd. And time is called. Rangers have won 23 of the last 28 from the Astros. And they have made this almost like their home park. Their record at Minute Maid is 45-28, a .616 winning percentage in this road venue.
Yeah, that's not some little 10-15 game streak where you just play poorly against a team. These guys have had their way. And they're a good club. You go man to man.
Into the seats. Keeps the count at 1-2. We talked about Adrian Beltre earlier. What a good leader he is for this Ranger club. The Rangers, of course, as you know, have a much more veteran team than the Astros. In the dirt, that kicks away from Gaddis. It's 2-2. They've been to the World Series a couple of times. Mr. Beltre's status with this club. He joined the Rangers in 2011. That was their first World Series year. That's a ground ball hit. Well up near the line, and here's Teoscar Hernandez firing into Carlos Correa. Well played on the opposite field single by Mazzara.
Tonight's Bank of America League Alert as we check out Adrian Beltre. Slammed one last night, dropping to a knee a la Reggie Jackson. And then, of course, the other guy, Elvis Andrus. Elvis is definitely in the building and playing very well. Came up with a huge hit and gave the Rangers the tie at that point, leading to the win for Texas last night.
Strike one to Elvis. 293 from the number 9 hitter. 5 homers, 62 runs batted in. That's a good lineup with the 9-man hitting 293.
Yeah, he hasn't hit a lot of home runs, obviously, but played extremely well.
Musgrove throws, and it's 0-2 to Andrus.
Watching that base hit by Mazzara going the other way, beating the shift. You could see an earlier swing in that sequence that he was shooting that way, and worked out effectively on his part.
Andrus ripped that big triple over the head of Jake Marisnick last night in the 9th. Now bangs out a line drive hit to left on the 0-2 count. Back-to-back singles, getting Gomez to the plate. Gomez struck out leading off the game. Carlos has hit .302 in his last 14 games with 3 homers, 9 runs batted in. Prior to that, he was 0 for 18. Came up from Round Rock August 25th. There's a strike to him. With the Astros, he hit .210 in 295 at bats. Got his release in mid-August. Made some changes in his hitting, though, once putting on a Ranger uniform. 0-2.
Yeah, there's obviously been a concerted effort to cut down on the swing, stop falling to a knee or all over the place and having the helmet flip off. And it's paid dividends to this point.
And a strikeout for Musgrove ends it in the second for Texas. Number 2 of the night for Joe. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. 1-1.
To know the city better. With our Welcome to Houston package, you can tour the Minute Maid Park and enjoy an Astros game on Friday the 23rd. For tickets, visit astros.com/welcome to Houston or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Line drive left, Gurriel to Gomez. One pitch, one out, bottom of the second inning for Derek Holland. For 328 hitting Yuli Gurriel. Stung it, but it was caught. Evan Gattis will be next.
You're supposed to hit those hanging breaking balls hard. Gurriel did oftentimes, and I'd say easily the majority of the time. You see guys take that pitch, but Gurriel jumped all over it.
Gattis has tremendous numbers against Holland. For the season, 244 for Evan, 26 homers, 61 runs batted in. He was 0 for 3 last night. That snapped his streak of reaching base in 15 straight starts. It was the second longest of his career. Pitch inside for ball one. He has 6 hits and 11 career at bats against Derek Holland with a homer and 3 runs batted in. Holland made his first major league start against the Astros in 09. Gave up a homer to Lance Berkman, a 3-run shot in that game. 1 ball, 1 strike. This season he has won both of his starts against Houston, 2-0 with a 3.27 ERA. Both of those in Arlington. He has not won a game at Minute Maid Park, 0-1 with a 6.23 ERA. Would not figure, according to what we hear, to be one of the top 3 playoff starters for the Rangers, assuming they make the playoffs. 2-2. Sounds as if Colby Lewis may grab one of those spots if he comes back and proves he is healthy. It's a liner over shortstop, and it's a hit to left field by Gattis. Number 3 for Houston. Astros hitters have swung the bats well early.
And Gattis jumps on a breaking ball here. Didn't look like it was a real bad location. In fact, pretty darn good. Off the outside corner. Great extension to get to that pitch. See that huge extension through the baseball.
Gattis aboard with 1 out. Marwin Gonzalez to follow. 253, 12 homers, 40 runs batted in for Marwin. You've heard of those repositioning cruises, Ash?
Yeah, I've never been in a position to take advantage, but sure.
They reposition the ship from one port to another, so people get a chance to sometimes, I think, at cut rates to go on those cruises.
To take advantage of one that repositions to Paris or something like that. That would be
drive way back. Desmond on the warning track hauls it in, 2 outs. Well, this is kind of a repositioning starting rotation opportunity for Jeff Bannister, because by not starting Yu Darvish tonight, he has slotted him back in behind Cole Hamels for his next start Saturday at home against Oakland. So he'll go with Hamels, Darvish, and Lewis Friday, Saturday, and Sunday against the Athletics. That could be the 3-man rotation that he plans to line up that way for the playoffs. Who knows?
Here, I've rethought it. I'm going to reposition to New Zealand.
Are you?
Yeah, I think that'll work well.
2-12 for Teoscar Hernandez. Good day, mate. 3 homers and 7 runs batted in for Teoscar.
It's pretty good.
Ball 1. Do they say that there, or
I
only
have
in Australia?
not a clue, but I would have bid.
Beautiful country, though. From what we've heard, it's kind of like traveling back in a time tunnel to the 1950s, right? 2-0. So that could fit both of us, in fact.
No, I think it would work well. A lot of movies that require the great scenery are shot there.
Yeah. Jake Marisnick's on deck. That's hit well to left center field. Gomez looking up at this one. Plenty of carry. That's a 2-run shot. Teoscar Hernandez drills it. Number 4 of the year gives the Astros a 3-1 lead.
Unlike the Springer home run, that towering pop fly, this ball you could tell right away had a great chance to get out, juiced by Teoscar. And he is sporadically showing some good pop with the bat. Certainly unloaded with that big swing.
2 long balls for the Astros here in the first 2 innings. Teoscar hit 3 homers in his first 10 big league games. Now there's number 4. Jake Marisnick comes up. That's ball 1 from Derek Holland, who has now surrendered 14 homers in 97 innings this year. Foul back, and it's 1-1. We got a message about the Teachers of the Year. We'd like to salute all of them tonight. Wish them all the best for another big school year for the kids. 2 balls and a strike. A couple of 10-year-old twins are here at the game celebrating their birthday, Hunter and Taylor Hilscher. Ground ball third. Beltre. Teoscar Hernandez drives 1 for his 8th and 9th runs batted in. Home run number 4 lifts the Astros on top by 2, 3-1. Early going. Brianna Carbonell joins us here in the top of the 3rd inning to talk about all things with the Astros' final homestand of the year, because this is the end of the next to last one, Brianna.
This is the last regular season homestand, is what we like to say around the office. So
7 home games remaining.
Yep, and it's going to be action-packed. So we're looking forward to finishing out the season strong and hopefully making a run for the postseason here.
It starts September 22nd.
Yep, with the
Angels.
With the Angels, exactly, on that Thursday. And then we roll right into the weekend with Hispanic Heritage. So starting on Friday, we'll have an awesome fireworks show, and we'll be doing Music of Selena. You know, so a Texas favorite.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll be bringing out her music and doing a spectacular fireworks show after the game on Friday. And then we'll head into Hispanic Heritage Street Fest on Saturday from 3 to 6 out in Crawford Street. Encouraging fans to come out and check it out. We'll have live music. We'll have a Hispanic band. We'll have a Hispanic DJ. DJ Platano will be here. And we partnered with our great Spanish radio partner, La Nueva, on bringing out some great entertainment options for fans. And, you know, a Q&A session. We're looking to bring out Cheo Cruz, who's always a fan favorite, and have some fun before the game.
Sounds good. And then I see a note here about a Carlos Correa baseball card, September 25th.
Yeah, we just added that. So Academy Sports and Outdoors came on, and they had an appetite to celebrate a milestone in their history, and so they're doing 20,000 Carlos Correa baseball cards. It's a limited edition type baseball card. It's a 5x7, so it's a little larger than your typical baseball card, and what's interesting is that one baseball card will be signed and by Carlos himself. And the fan that gets that when they come in through the gates will actually win a shopping spree to Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Very, very good.
Yeah. So make sure fans are looking out for that whenever you're walking into the stadium. Don't want to miss that opportunity by any means.
Ian Desmond takes strike 3 from Joe Musgrove. Then the Tal's Hill finale is coming up on those last couple days of the season, right?
Yeah, so as we kind of wrap up the regular season, understand that Tal's Hill is pretty special to a lot of fans here, and want to give those fans the opportunity to come out and commemorate that. So what we're going to do is give fans the opportunity to take a picture in front of Tal's Hill. So fans will be able to purchase a voucher for that. We'll be doing that on the Sunday, the 25th, as well as the Wednesday, the final regular season game, after the games on both of those dates. So more information to come on that, but definitely want to give our fans the opportunity to kind of have a moment with Tal's Hill.
That's appropriate. That's strike 2 to Carlos Beltran, who had the RBI double in the first inning. And I have a secret. I don't think it's a secret anymore, but Reed Ryan said, well, there's another area of the ballpark that's going to be named Tal's Hill, so it's not completely going away. There's a little looping line drive caught by Correa, so it's not forgotten by any means, but your last chance to get the picture in front of the physical Tal's Hill.
Exactly. And a lot of things happening, really around that last regular season home game. So that opportunity for fans, but also, we'll do an Astros after party in 5-7 like we've done before. Fans will be able to check out around the concourse some unique opportunities for 2017. So, going into the holiday season, you can get a commemorative brick. Which is a great holiday gift for friends. So yeah, there's an example of one of our brick pavers, a nice and hefty brick paver that goes out inside or outside of our ballpark, and have that option for fans as we kind of head into the holiday season. But with it being the last day, it's our Fan Appreciation Day. We will be giving out the Schedule Pen, which is a new promo item that we are doing this year, and we've typically included that. Oh, yeah, there it is. A demonstration of it there for everyone.
Schedule pen. Never saw one of those before.
Yeah, so a kind of different way of demonstrating our schedule. We've typically had it on the back of the team poster, but wanted to come up with another way to show our schedule off.
Springer with the catch. Thanks, Brianna, for joining us. We look forward to that final homestand.
Thanks, Brownie.
3-1. There's that schedule pen. We've never seen that before until now. 3-1.
Back in the box takes us inside the box score. Take a look at what a couple of the big guys, Carlos Correa and George Springer, have done against the Rangers this year. You can see the numbers are not impressive. And the 33 at-bats for Carlos Correa per RBI, way off his mark. About 1 RBI every 7 at-bats against the other ball clubs. So you get some of the glimpses of why the Astros have scuffled against this Texas club.
Yes, you do. There's strike one to George Springer, who ripped a homer in the first inning. He's now hit 8 leadoff homers. Altuve's hit 6. Total of 14 leadoff homers for the Astros this year. 1-1. That's some thump to begin a game. Springer fouls it back, 1-2. So George with the 27 long balls, 76 runs batted in, has fared well in the power department. He has a .359 on base average. He's scored 109 runs now. That's tied for third in the American League.
Well, that's that thinking time that all players go through in the dugout, even at their positions. Thinking about pitches they have seen, it's running through the mind.
It sure looks like it is from that shot. 2-2.
You replay that stuff when you get back to the hotel or home, whatever the case may be. But it's running in there. It's that constant video going on.
That one almost clipped Springer. It's a full count for Derek Holland.
And George constantly sees pitches in, as does Carlos Correa.
That's a liner to right field. Very nice job by Springer of going to the opposite field for his second hit of the game.
Look, hits don't always come on pitches right down the middle. You've got to be able to battle other pitches, and George does right here, down and away, close to that strike zone, may be callable. And that is gorgeous work by George. When you get it going, when you start feeling it, you'll handle that pitch and many others. You can see in this case that right heel stuck to the ground.
He's on for Alex Bregman, who grounded out in the first inning. Bregman takes their strike one. The Rangers have had 2 quality starts in the first 2 games of this series. Martin Perez went 6 1/3, giving up 2 runs in the first game Monday night, and last night it was A.J. Griffin, 7 innings, 2 runs. The Ranger ERA against the Astros in the 18 games is 3.20 this year. But overall for the season, it's 4.38. They just seem to be at their best in many ways when playing Houston. One and two. Obviously, it's a factor the Astros young players are going to have to deal with if they want to get back to the playoffs, and this season will remain in their minds for a while when they go home in terms of head-to-head with their in-state rivals. Right fielder Mazzara positions himself. 1 out. Altuve will be next. Last year the Rangers were 13-6 against the Astros. Altuve ripped a double to left in the first inning. His MVP supporters displaying their feelings there on the sign. Credentials still very strong, 3rd in the league in on-base average, 6th in slugging.
You'd like to see him put on a nice charge here in the remaining games and make people remember the year that Altuve has had, not just the past few weeks.
Profar had to reach out for that throw. Altuve has hit .275 against Texas pitching, 3 homers, 14 runs batted in this year. Now just 4 hits away from 200 for the 3rd consecutive year. Holland moves inside with the pitch, and it's ball 1. The last player to have 3 consecutive 200 hit seasons was Ichiro. He had 10 in a row But the last right-handed hitter with 3 or more 200 hit seasons was the Rangers' Michael Young. He had 5 straight. That was a snap throw to first. From 2003 through 07, Michael Young with 5 straight 200 hit seasons.
You know, if I made some comparisons, some player that could possibly do what Ichiro did, I'd have to say, well, they've got to be able to have speed, come up with some cheap hits, a lot of the time put the barrel on the ball, and an uncanny ability to stay in there and play game after game and be successful. Boy, who else better than Jose Altuve?
He fits the bill. Last Astros second baseman to have 22 homers in a single season was Craig Biggio in 05. He had 26. Altuve's hit 24, but 22 have come while playing second base. He's the first Astro with 94 runs batted in since Carlos Lee in 11. 1-2.
Hittable off-speed pitch right there.
Yeah. The first hit for Altuve last night of his 3 involved a really well-balanced swing. He had a 2-2 count against A.J. Griffin. Stayed on balance to hit a low breaking pitch out into left center field. Rangers and Astros both have off days tomorrow. The Rangers will be home getting ready to play Oakland over the weekend, while the Astros, as Ash told us earlier, will be headed for Seattle after this game. And then they'll open up against the Mariners. King Felix Hernandez and crew on Friday night in Seattle. Altuve fouls it back. That'll be a 9:10 start Houston time, so 8:30 for the pregame show Friday night with Colin McHugh matched with Felix Hernandez. Saturday night, that'll be a 7:30 pregame show. Mike Fiers and James Paxton square off. Sunday at 2:30 for the pregame, it's Doug Fister and Ariel Miranda, a young lefty.
Bring on the lefties. The Astros bats are starting to show some signs of life against the left-handers.
Yeah, they are. Altuve to right center. That'll hang up, and Mazzara moves over for it. 2 outs.
Tonight's Quicken Loans Rocket Arms. Talking about the Seattle probables that Brownie was just talking about. Colin McHugh, Mike Fiers, Doug Fister for the Astros. The King was in the opener. James Paxton and Ariel Miranda. And you know, the Astros have had success against Felix Hernandez.
They have, you're right. Carlos Correa struck out on a 3-2 pitch in the first inning. As if it's not tough enough for the Astros and their fans, losing 15 of 18 to the Rangers. Their Lancaster club was eliminated by the Rangers Class A California League club in the playoffs last night in Game 4 of the South Division Finals.
And again, Carlos Correa takes an early strike. Breaking ball left up.
This time it's 1-1 now for his next pitch. The Astros, by the way, have the best road record in the majors since June 14th, 22-16. Best in the American League, rather, 22-16. One and two. Correa goes upstairs and strikes out. No runs, a hit, and a man left. Strikeout number 2 for Holland. 3-1 Astros after 3.
His career, we're seeing even new pitches in his short career. He's throwing a cutter now as he had success with that pitch against the Cubs, but there's another pitch that we don't see a whole lot. It's his two-seam fastball is what everyone else calls it, but it's actually a one-seam. Two-seam, of course, the fingers along, they're parallel along the seams, but the one seam, he moves his fingers over a little bit, so he's splitting the seam there. That's actually what he throws. So he calls it a two-seamer to everyone, but guys, we have the insight. So it is actually a one-seam grip. He says it sinks a little bit more and good against right-handed hitters. So just a little interesting tidbit for you guys.
Especially with those wonderful nails you have, it just looks a little different than what we're used to seeing. But nicely
I took my
done.
rings off
All
too.
I've got to say is give me a bat. Not against Musgrove. I want to work against Julia.
Yeah? I didn't intimidate you at all?
Well, you did. Absolutely. But I'm still willing to take a hack or two.
Oh. That's well done, Julia. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Odor grounded out his first time up, and Musgrove is staying in tight to him. He fouled that one first base side. He's hit .329 against Houston, 6 homers, 7 doubles, 19 runs batted in 17 games. What a tough out Odor has been for the Astros pitching staff. The 6 home runs, the most by a Ranger against one team in a season since Beltre hit 6 against the Astros, of course, in 13. Struck him out looking, but Musgrove worked him over inside and then dropped a breaking ball on the outside to get it.
Not where Gaddis had set up, but Evan does a nice job reaching to his left and keeping it quiet with the reception. Watch this. I don't know if this curveball gets to the plate. No, it does not. And Rougned Odor, maybe that's the way you get him.
You get him on bad calls?
Yeah, it worked one time. Let's go for multiple times against that fine young second baseman.
Jonathan Lucroy grounded out in the 2nd inning. That's strike 1 to Lucroy. Profar coming up next. Oh, and 2. Musgrove was the only Astro starter to go 6 innings in a game in the last 12 games before last night, and Brad Peacock went 6. Fine outing for Brad last night, giving up 3 hits and 1 run. So now 2 of the last 13 games have involved an Astros starter going 6 innings. Everything else has been less than that. 0-2. As a result, the Astros starters ERA has risen to 4.41 for the season. That ranks 9th in the American League. But the injury factor, of course, has been pretty big. Dallas Keuchel, Lance McCullers out. Fouled away, and neither one has any scheduled date to throw off a mound yet. Keuchel not throwing yet, and McCullers is playing catch every day on flat ground. Out to left center field, Marisnik. 2 outs.
Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices with MLB.TV Premium, which includes a free subscription to At-Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Void where prohibited by law. Visit MLB.TV for details.
You like reading that, void while prohibited, right?
I just threw that in myself, but I thought it might apply. I've always wanted to say that.
Jurickson Profar hit a fly ball to center. Altuve takes care of out number 3. And that's 7 in a row set down by Musgrove with a 3-1 Houston lead. In the bottom of the 4th inning, Gurriel, Gaddis, and Gonzalez, the G-men to bat against Derek Holland. Holland gave up a leadoff homer in the first to George Springer, his 27th, and then a 2-out 2-run shot to Teoscar Hernandez in the second, his 4th. Gurriel lined out to left his first time. It's ball 1. Several games were played this afternoon. The Mets lost at Washington 1-0. Tanner Roark shutting them out. Mark Melanson getting his 42nd save. Grounded, and Beltre has it. 1 out. A reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game. It's brought to you by Miller Lite. We look at Evan Gattis, what he's done against Derek Holland.
Watch your lips. And don't get it up there in the beard. It doesn't come back a lot of times. He's found a stroke here in the second half, maybe even beyond that.
Single to left earlier, rode home on the Hernandez homer. Ball 1 to Evan.
Evan can find a way to put together a complete season. Last year, the very slow start. This year, had the injuries which curtailed the beginning of the season.
2-0. Oh, it's Wednesday night, Ash.
Dear.
Dollar hot dogs. Take 2 or 3.
Go throw a bunch of jalapenos on there and dive in.
Good swing by Evan. He fouls it, and it's 2-1. Well, the Mets, with their loss, now are 77-69. They were in a wild card playoff spot when the day started, but it's really close. The Cardinals were only a half game behind when the day started today. Cubs beat the Cardinals to lower their magic number to 1 to clinch the division.
What is the earliest date-wise in the 162 schedule that a team has clinched their division?
Ooh.
I bet you Carl's got a response for that.
Don't know the exact date. Well, we would probably think about checking the 0-1 Seattle Mariners. They won 116 games.
Yeah, that'd be a good place to start.
Yeah, and maybe the 98 Yankees, they won 114.
Club just breezed through the postseason as well. Is that the one? Am I right on the 98?
Yes. Fly ball out to left field. Gomez, sounded like a broken bat. 2 outs. And Marwin Gonzalez will be next. He flied to center earlier. Dodgers got 2 in the 9th to beat the Yankees 2-0. The 98 Yankees clinched August 29th. That's pretty early.
Welcome to September, all the rest of the clubs.
Marwin Gonzalez hit a fly ball to center. Well, come to think of it, let's go way back, like the 27 Yankees probably, because they didn't play as many games then.
Yep.
So the earlier date would have applied in that time for clinching. Strike 1 to Marwin.
You know, if that Mariners club you mentioned, 116 wins, did not beat that mark by the Yankees, that says there was another club playing well in that division.
Yeah, can't remember, but it sure would. No balls, 2 strikes. Giants lost today to the Padres 3-1. That's a damaging loss for them. Madison Bumgarner took the loss. That's a strikeout, number 3 for Holland to end the 4th inning. 3-1 Astros. Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box for a limited time only at participating restaurants. By Academy Sports and Outdoors, donating $100 for each Astros home run and $200 for each Correa home run to Houston Children's Charity. We've had some changes now in the Astros infield, leading us to think that something is wrong with Jose Altuve. Marwin Gonzalez has moved from first base to second base. Tyler White is in the game at first base with Altuve leaving the game. He was 1 for 2 while he was in there. Omar Mazara leads it off in the 5th. Highly unusual for Altuve to leave a game like this at this point. There's ball 1. Mazara singled to left, and Teoscar Hernandez got over to hold him to a single. This one's in the air, foul. Did you see anything? He had that double, and then he had the caught stealing in the first inning as far as running hard, Ash.
Yeah, I didn't see a thing. And I'm hoping that the case is it's just some minor tweak, and with the long night tonight with the flight to Seattle and all that, and tomorrow being an off day, maybe just a little chance to gain some rest. By the way, Art Howe, of all people, since the 2001 A's won 101 games, I think he might be implying that they could have been in that race for teams that clinched earliest among other teams.
Well, it might have been.
Let's check that one.
As you indicated earlier, it depends on what the second place team was doing.
Yeah, it's true.
Fouled away, and it's still 1-2 on Mazzara with Andrus and Gomez to follow.
What was Artie's final year of leadership with the A's club? I'd have to look that one up.
Yeah.
But if you commission me, I'll pull it off here.
Okay. You are commissioned to depart from this broadcast and do your research. Curveball, and he tried to check and did. Angel Hernandez on appeal, making that call. 2-2. You can take some personal time, Ash. It's fine.
No, I'm on my own personal time right now. Generally, I won't respond to you when that's going on.
Musgrove pitches inside, gets another foul. We noticed he was doing that on Odor as well. Here's Altuve in the first inning, and now in the third inning he comes up, and maybe on that swing,
a little tweak in the back, maybe.
Maybe. You know, looks like he's reaching for that right rib cage area. Maybe an oblique or something. Hope not. Boy, that would be very bad news.
By the way, Art Howe managed the A's from '96 through 2002, and then the Mets a couple of years following.
So 2002 is final year in Oakland.
Yep. Okay. So 1 year after winning 101 games.
Changeup got him. You know, I like the way Musgrove is attacking these left-handed hitters inside, and then that set up that changeup for him, Ash.
I like the changeup, and what really sets it up nicely, back in the first inning, Musgrove came out throwing 94 miles an hour tonight. Not every fastball, but if he gets in that range, I think that makes his breaking stuff and the changeup set up very well.
Elvis Andrus singled to left earlier. This one's in the air outside the left field line and headed for the seats. Strike one to Andrus. Mark Trumbo hit a big home run to put the Orioles ahead of the Red Sox.
Not another. 42?
Sounds right. Yep. 1-0 after 7. Baltimore leading at Fenway. A 1-0 win at Fenway. That's unusual. If they get it. In for a strike. 0-2. .42 home runs for Trumbo.
Guess what? Brian Dozier's hit another. He's at 41.
Man. Andrews strikes out. That's number 6 for Musgrove.
Looking for the perfect location for your special event? Well, Minute Maid Park provides elegant event spaces and high-end entertainment in Houston's most iconic sporting venue. Learn more by calling 713-259-8800 or by visiting astros.com/special events.
Fans really booing loudly as Gomez takes ball one. It's the right oblique forcing Altuve out of the game, unfortunately. That is not good news at all. 2-0.
Yeah, we don't want to hear that at all, but also that pursuit of 200 hits going along for Jose.
He's at 196. 2 balls and a strike. Unfortunately, tomorrow's a day off. Pretty hard to swing the bat with an oblique bothering a player, though. 3-1.
Apparently that last fastball was a little tough to catch. Slipped on by Evan Gattis.
And that one was yanked by Musgrove. It's ball 4 to Gomez. He's on with a 2-out walk. That's the first walk for Musgrove. He has been really stingy with walks this season. Now Desmond with a little infield roller for a hit. Scored the run in the first inning on the Beltran double. He struck out looking in the third. Throw goes over. Gomez has 16 steals in 20 attempts. The Astros record when they hit a leadoff homer is 8-5. We had a question about that. They've hit 14 for the year. Thanks, Boots. Desmond fouls it. There's strike one.
I guess you would take that figure anytime. So keep bringing those leadoff home runs.
Yep. In the air, and here's Tyler White for it into foul territory in front of the Astros dugout for the third out. No runs, no hits, and a man stranded. 3-1 Astros.
Houston Astros, LLC.
3-1, the Astros leading the Rangers as they enjoy life in the Insperity Club. Like a good time there. The Astros have Teoscar Hernandez in the box in the home fifth inning. He looks at ball one. He ripped a homer on a 2-0 count in the second. Very well struck ball by Teoscar. That's on the corner. That evens the count at 1-1. Holland has set down 6 in a row after the Springer hit in the third. In for strike two. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Center fielder comes in for it. Desmond. 1 out.
Houston Methodist brings us our league leaders. Jose Altuve is always a good subject to talk about And as you look at that list, fastest to 103 hit games in their career, Altuve on the list. Yesterday was game number 812 for Jose Altuve. He had 3 hits in yesterday's game. 100 times he's turned the trick. Ichiro, the leader in that category. And you would figure that. Wade Boggs, Omar Garcia-Parra, Kirby Puckett. Great names. Jose Altuve has joined that list now. And you hope the Astros can get him back very shortly. Big games coming up in Seattle.
Jake Marisnick fouls it for strike 1. He grounded to third in the second inning. Derek Holland is 29 years old. He was born in Newark, Ohio. 25th round draft choice in '06 by the Rangers. Fouled away, and it's no balls, 2 strikes. He can help in the bullpen if he is not in the playoff rotation for the Rangers. Marisnick fouls it. Still 0-2. Apparently there's an article worth reading about Tony La Russa commenting about Adam Jones being off base and Colin Kaepernick insincere. I have to read that later on. Popped up. Profar comes over for it into foul territory. 2 outs. George Springer has a homer and a single tonight. Possible cycle for George, Ash?
Why not? Why not? And like so many hitters, you get it hot, you can have one of those nights. George has already taken care of, as you say, the home run and double. Let's get the 3-bagger right here. Oh, heck, I'm always a fan of the home run. Go for it, George.
There's strike 1 on the foul ball. Big game at Fenway. 1-0 Baltimore going to the 9th now. A lot at stake there because Boston has a 2-game lead over Baltimore in the AL East. Toronto lost today to Tampa Bay 8-1.
By the way, Brownie, in that 1-0 Baltimore lead over the Red Sox, Dustin Pedroia, second leading hitter in the league, 0 for 4 tonight. He has dropped to .329. So yeah, kind of keeping an eye on that. Jose Altuve had a, I believe, 40-plus point lead at one point a couple of weeks back, and it's gotten very close.
Yeah, 7 or 8 points when the night started tonight. Foul back. Well, we all remember very well 2014 when Jose went to the final day to win that batting title.
Came up with that double his final at bat. I believe he was 2 for 4 in that final game. There was a lot of pressure on his shoulders. A lot of people felt he shouldn't play. He felt he should. He went out there and got the job done.
He brought it in the back door for a called third strike. That's number 4 for Holland, who's retired 9 in a row. 3-1 Astros after 5.
make sure to jump on Twitter, follow us at Root Sports SW, and vote in our poll. Now, if you were building a team, which kind of player would you start with? A potential young star, an established veteran star, hard-throwing ace, or maybe a dominant closer? We want to hear what you think, and we'll tell you who wins this poll later in the broadcast, Brum.
Thanks, Julia. Carlos Beltran, the batter. Ground ball. The shift is on, putting Correa over there to throw him out. There's double-barreled action in the bullpen. Lefty Tony Sipp and right-hander Pat Neshek for Houston as Musgrove gets out number 1 in the 6th.
Ultimately, a nice play by Carlos Correa. With this shift on, he has to move into the what would be the second base spot to make the play and throw while moving to his left. Running toward right field.
Got a lot on that throw to Tyler White, who stretched for it.
You know, you watch Adrian Beltre play third, and he'll drop to that little submarine kind of throw of his, where Carlos Correa, when need be, will go right over the top.
Strike to Beltre, who's 0 for 2. Clayton Kershaw is back in the Dodger rotation. They won it 2-0 with 2 runs in the 9th inning. He got a no decision. Marwin Gonzalez. A little flip throw over to White, 2 outs. And the shift worked well for the Astros there. Rougned Odor will be next. Odor is 0 for 2. So Kershaw in 5 innings gave up a hit, no runs. Apparently there was a rain delay in that caused him to be taken out of the game after 64 pitches. Kenley Jansen got his 44th save. Pressure is really on the Giants now, with the Dodgers not only leading them. Let's see, the Giants lost today 3-1, and the Dodgers won, so their lead goes up to 5 games, and the Giants are in trouble as far as making the playoffs, period. Grounder goes foul. 0-2. The Giants currently are still, let's see, they were a half game in front of St. Louis, and St. Louis lost, so they're still in a wild card position right now, but they have a big series coming up with the Cardinals, a 4-game series, and that could decide quite a bit.
Well, the Pirates have hit the slide since the Astros went into Pittsburgh and took 2 out of 3 from the Buccos.
Odor swings at a breaking ball and strikes out. Very good pitch from Musgrove, and he gets his 7th strikeout and leads it 3-1 in the 6th. Inning, Bregman, White, and Correa due up. Jose Altuve left the game and was 1 for 2. White replacing him in the number 3 spot in the lineup. Bregman is 0 for 2. He grounded out and hit a fly ball to right. Some discomfort in the right oblique, causing Altuve to leave the game after his third inning at bat. There's a shot to left field, just inside the left field foul line. And Bregman heads for second base. Leadoff double. Bregman gets his first hit of the series.
He's got such a great short, directly to the baseball stroke. You would anticipate, I would anyway, that he wouldn't have many prolonged slumps, but to say first hit in the series, surprising. But boy, when he gets to it, he stings it.
That snapped an 0 for 12 for Alex. He's aboard for Tyler White. White's batting for the first time tonight with a .209 average, 7 homers, 25 runs batted in. He's had 220 at bats. Ball 1. Holland has pitched effectively inside to Astros right-handed hitters this year. Jose Leclerc is warming up in the bullpen. Tigers lead the Twins 7-6, middle of the 8th at Detroit. In for a strike, that makes it 1-1. Jonathan Lucroy has really gained the respect of the Ranger pitching staff from what we're hearing in terms of calling the game. It's not that easy for a catcher to switch leagues on a trade mid-season. 1-2 with the way he has to know all the hitters.
I think a big part of that is the ability to listen, sit down with your pitchers and your pitching coach and make sure you know exactly what your guys want. There's one side of that scouting report thing is going against the hitter's weakness, but you also have the pitcher's strength, and I think a lot of times you want to play there.
Foul back.
Our Lexus defensive ratings as we look around at this outfield for the Texas Rangers. Carlos Gomez, we've continued to show him green. Go ahead and run on him. Great strength of throwing arm, inaccurate. Ian Desmond is that coin flip, and Nomar Mazara is the guy with the good arm in right field. There seem to be some question marks about Mazara defensively with the glove here recently, and we saw a couple of blemishes last week in Arlington, but good throwing arm.
Well, as you pointed out the last couple of nights, he looked really good early in the season.
It looked like the Rangers had just come up with a coup with their young right fielder, and he's still been good, but I don't think he's been the guy that we saw early the first couple of months.
White fouls it off that railing in front of the Astros dugout. Lefty Dario Alvarez is warming up for the Rangers. Preston Tucker has been here for treatment, but not expected to play this September. Right shoulder problems. Brother Michael has had a fine season again this year in the Astros minor leagues. Fouled away by White. Tyler came up from AAA August 2nd. This is his third stint with the club this year.
I like what I'm seeing from Tyler White. After that great first week and a half of the season, he became more and more passive, taking a lot of pitches. Right now, as he's come back up to the team, very much more aggressive and actually driving some baseballs.
Now 2-2 to White. Oh, he was like Ken Caminetti with his first week in the majors when the Astros opened the season at Yankee Stadium, then went to Milwaukee. He was hitting bombs. He started with 10 hits in his first 15 at bats this year.
Impressed far more people than just us around the team. Voted the player of the week in that first week. Bet he thought this was going to be easy.
Ground ball, Beltre, slick play to his left to get him. They get the out call. The ball trickled out of Profar's glove. Now Bregman reaching back to the right hamstring area after advancing to third on that ground out. And Here's another injury.
This was a heck of a play by Beltre. Watch this little in-between hop. No telling where that ball is going to go. And then Alex Bregman trying to go second to third.
Okay.
Yeah, that throw from Beltre put Bregman in an awkward position, and obviously he's hurting. I don't know if that's back or hammy.
It could be either. He was reaching back for the right hamstring, but as you saw in that excellent replay, he was ducking the throw, and that would appear to be the cause of this injury, whatever it is.
You want to say, I'll stay in, I'm fine, but you can see the look on his face. I'm not sure he's dealt with this before.
Well, he's coming out. We might be seeing more September call-ups the way things are going tonight, Ash. This is getting crazy with the Astros.
Yeah, at this point, you'd be calling guys that are back at home trying to settle in for the offseason, but I'm sure they would take the call.
Oh, they'll take the call. Yeah, this does not look good at all
No,
for Alex.
It really doesn't. And I am curious. I would almost take a guess at lower back, but that awkward position could have put a strain on, like you say, the hamstring or the lower back.
Jeremiah Randall will lead him up the tunnel to the training room. Well, as anybody who's had lower back miseries can attest, usually the hamstring and the lower back area are linked together pretty closely.
Yeah, that's true. AJ's got to be scratching his head right about now. What do you do?
Oh, pinch runner Tony Camp first of all, and then he'll have a few moments to figure out what to do with the infield alignment. The beauty of it is having Marwin Gonzalez in there. He could play anywhere. Now the infielders come in. Correa has struck out both times tonight. This is only the 6th at bat for the Astros with man in scoring position in the series. Hoping that Correa can come through with Gurriel on deck, but we will not see a pitch because he's being put on intentionally. That will allow the possibility of a ground ball double play with Gurriel batting next, and also will mean the Rangers don't face a 90 RBI man.
Who has been struggling to come up with ribbies here during the last week plus?
Clark and Alvarez in the bullpen. Gurriel, who has drilled a line drive caught by the left fielder and grounded to third, will be the batter. Doug Brocail, the Rangers pitching coach, former Astros pitching coach and pitcher, comes out to the mound.
By the way, to my point, August 31st, the last RBI for Carlos Correa, that came against the Oakland A's. And so that ribby bat has been very quiet.
Brocail talks it over. Holland will go back to work. 86 pitches into this game.
Yeah, those are good, efficient numbers.
Ground ball hit. That makes it 4-1. Gurriel driving in Kemp, and Correa going first to third on the single. 9th run batted in for Gurriel. So much for the intentional walk.
Yeah, I think Gurriel is going to make managers very hesitant about walking Correa. And it's a nice response. First pitch he sees up and shoot it the other way. He's got a nice built-in swing for that opposite field hit.
And that's a knockout punch on Derek Holland. Gurriel makes it 4-1. And Holland is out of this game. The bullpen will be in with the score of 4-1. Houston right after this.
Watch the games closely starting next Monday for your chance to win 2 round-trip tickets on Southwest Airlines in our Wanna Get Away sweepstakes. See the winning word during the game and visit rootsports.com/wannagetaway to enter and win. Ronnie?
Thanks, Julia. Sounds like a great opportunity to have some fun there. Meanwhile, on Dollar Hot Dog Night, they're enjoying the moment. Jose Leclerc has come out of the bullpen for the Rangers. He inherits runners at first and third and 1 out, facing Evan Gattis. Leclerc for 8 1/3 innings has a 3.24 ERA and a whip of 2.04. That is high.
Well, it's high because he's walked 11 hitters in those 8 1/3 innings.
Evan Gattis takes strike 1 at 80. He singled to left and flied to left. Baltimore beat Boston 1-0 at Fenway. That's a rarity in that ballpark. 1-1. Buck Showalter's Birds pulled to within 1 game of the first place Red Sox. Toronto stays 2 behind with a loss today, 8-1 to Tampa Bay. Clark throwing to first on Gurriel.
If the Orioles get into the postseason, how much attention might Mark Trumbo gain in terms of MVP voting?
Well, that's a very fair question. We haven't even seen his name in any of the conjecture about the MVP.
Not a bit. 42 dingers, 100 RBIs.
Out to right center field. Desmond coming for it. That's in for a hit. Correa scoring 5-1. Gattis drives in his 62nd.
Pretty nice response by the ball club after the intentional pass. You get Gurriel and Gattis coming through. I would say the big key right now, you got some guys that can swing it. Can they become more consistent in terms of driving in the runs? You can see Carlos is feeling quite frisky with the legs.
Well, the intentional walk comes back to burn the Rangers, with Correa, who received that walk, scoring the 2nd run of the inning. And after the intentional pass, Gurriel singled in a run, then Gattis singled in another. 5-1, and Marwin Gonzalez tries to put a little more distance between the two. He is 0 for 2. Ball 1.
That is really ideal blocking position from LaCroix.
Well, the G-men are striking with machine gun-like precision in this inning. Gurriel and Gattis. Now, let's see if Gonzalez can follow suit.
Now, I guess you've got to keep these guys together in the order, right?
That's it. Doesn't work without that synergy. Foul back. 1-1.
Words like synergy really mess me up in a baseball game.
That used to be the name of the Reds ballpark, right?
Synergy, that's right.
A different kind of synergy.
Messed up the Reds for years.
They didn't have synergy at synergy, though. 1-1. Tigers 8, Twins 6. Bottom of the 8th inning in Detroit. Marwin looks at ball 2. Trying to figure out what AJ is going to do with this infield now. Bregman had to leave the game. Well, okay, here's one possibility. Kemp goes into play 2nd. Marwin switches to 3rd. We'll see.
Hope Marwin brought all of his gloves to the dugout tonight.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
The impact of a great changeup. That was it.
The Ranger bullpen has the worst ERA in the American League, 4.73. Can't remember a club with an 87-59 record with a 9.5 game lead with the worst bullpen ERA in a league. Can you?
No, it's rare, that's for certain.
And so it's been feast or famine quite a bit for this Ranger club. Winning all the one-run games, 33 wins by 1, but then just getting blown out in a lot of losses, which rips up that bullpen ERA. Very strange year. 3-2. No complaint by the Rangers.
Yeah, something about clubs that find a way to win. Because the players, they're not looking at all those numbers trying to figure out, gee, how are we winning? All they know is they're winning, and it feels good.
Good looking group there.
Yes, sir.
Desmond backing in center. Gurriel tagging and going to third as the throw comes into second base. 2 outs.
Looking at how these two clubs have done against other West opponents, not involving each other here, and the Astros have been good. The Rangers, you know, it's funny, you talk with some of the broadcasters, folks with the teams from the A's and the Angels, and they'll say, oh, the Rangers are very beatable, and yet that's not what the Astros and all of us have seen this year. So everybody has a different peak at a club, and you know, we've talked about some of the difference in the run differential this year for Texas. It's much tighter than you would guess while watching the Astros play this club.
Only 7-6 against the Athletics. Teoscar Hernandez bats. He ripped a 2-run homer. He flied to center. This one for the second baseman Odor in shallow right field. And the Astros add to their lead with 2 in the 6th on 3 hits. They strand 2. They're up 5-1. Game. Top of the 7th approaching with the Astros leading it and doubling the Texas hit total 8-4. Teoscar Hernandez had a 2-run homer in the 2nd, and the Astros have lost 2 infielders with injuries. Jose Altuve with right oblique soreness. Alex Bregman leaving. We just got the announcement it was his right hamstring, forcing him out of the game, and that has necessitated moves on the infield. Joe Musgrove will take that 5-1 lead to the 7th inning. Meanwhile, they'll have a new third baseman. Marwin Gonzalez is over to play third. Musgrove in 6 innings has allowed 4 hits and a run, walking 1, fanning 7. Just an excellent game the way he has mixed and commanded his pitches, Ash.
Better fastball to start the ball game. I like seeing the changeup get mixed in. Marwin's been all over the place using 3 different gloves tonight. And you got TK out there in the outfield.
Tony Kemp moving into second now. So Jonathan Lucroy leads it off. Lucroy is 0 for 2. Bouncing it. Tony Kemp with the throw. He gets an immediate test.
Shame on me. I didn't even glance to see Kemp at second base.
Yeah.
I was kind of looking into some other things.
Well,
so yeah, he's been a second baseman in college and I guess briefly in the minor leagues.
Right. Chris Davinsky is warming up along with Pat Neshek.
We don't want to see anybody tall out there at second base, that's for sure.
No. Now Profar. Strike one for Musgrove. Profar is 0 for 2. Musgrove has handcuffed the Rangers on 4 hits. And he has 1 walk to go with 7 strikeouts, as you may have noticed on that graphic a moment ago. Very efficient game for Joe. 1-1. The Rangers are the #1 comeback team in the majors. 44 times they've come from behind to win games. Last night they did it with 2 outs in the 9th, trailing. That was the 3rd time this year they've won a game when trailing with 2 outs in the 9th. 2-1. Curveball. 2-2. Musgrove is certainly putting in his bid to be in that 5-man rotation to open 2017 for the Houston Astros, Ash.
Yeah, you're always trying to find a way into the mind of those who make decisions on a ball club, and the field manager as well. I think he's gone quite a ways in that direction.
3-2. Well, just the fact of the importance of the games he has pitched here in September, and the fact that he has pitched well against this Texas lineup in 2 of his 3 starts against them really put him in good stead.
Yeah, the conversation we had early in the ballgame about what pitching against really good clubs that are heading toward postseason play can mean for a guy. I think for Joe Musgrove, it can mean a great deal. He's got a chance of going home saying, look, I didn't pitch as well as I wanted, but I know I can get these guys.
Foul back by Profar. Still a full count. The Rangers came into this game with a .287 team batting average against Houston pitching for 18 games. They've slugged 22 homers against the Astros pitching. Foul back. Tonight a different story. Even after they had a 1-0 lead on a Beltran 1-out first inning double. Ninth pitch is coming from Musgrove to Profar here in this at bat. Hey, looking back at that first inning now, Ash. Gomez struck out to lead off the game. Desmond hit a little roller that went about 15 feet for a hit. Musgrove had a difficult play, couldn't make it, and then Beltran followed with a double. So 1-0 after 3 batters. And then that's when the turnaround began, but he gave up a couple of 2-out singles in the second to Mazara and Andrews, and got Gomez on strikes to end that threat.
Very easy to quit early, and much tougher to dig in and wage the war. And obviously it's been the latter case tonight for Musgrove. He's done very well.
Greater coverage of baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. We're going to fast forward ahead to April of 2017. This is the way the Astros schedule will start. 7-game homestand next April. 4 with Seattle, 3 with Kansas City, then on the road to Seattle and Oakland, back home for the Angels, and then that next trip starts in Tampa Bay and continues on. Let's see, what was the second stop on that trip? You remember?
You locked me up, Brownie.
All right, Cleveland.
Oh,
your favorite place in April?
Yeah, ideal. That April weather in Cleveland should set up for a very nice series.
Well, you guys can do a little sunbathing by the lake up there, and that would be a wonderful way to spend April of 2017.
You are the finest of trip planners in my book.
Brent Strom out to the mound. 100 pitches for Musgrove. If he can get a double play ball here from Mazara, that probably will be the last thing asked of him tonight. Mazara's 1 for 2. And it's strike 1. Musgrove has picked up a cut fastball that he threw in his last start. So not only is he here and pitching well in the big leagues, but adding to his repertoire. 1-1.
He's made such a commitment in the past year to getting in good shape, and he just looks like a guy that really belongs here now. He was considerably heavier a year ago.
He's had hip problems in the past. Fastball foul back. This version plays very well at age 23. Astros minor league pitcher of the year last year, working at Quad Cities, Lancaster, and Corpus Christi.
Kind of had that Brad Penny body. Just a large man, a linebacker you don't want to see hitting you.
He worked very hard over the winter training on the beach to lose that weight.
I've tried that program. Didn't work for me. You might try that this next week,
well,
right?
Not really. Galveston's still pretty warm this time of year.
The LBs will drop right off.
Oh,
Brownie.
yeah. Little tap goes foul.
Again, there's that changeup, and you see some very poor swings at his changeup. That says he's selling it well.
Question for you about September baseball and the importance that you may be able to attach or lack of same. September can be a devious month for results when planning for the following year.
Oh,
correct?
yeah. Deceitful. Depends on who you're playing. Again, the Astros are just coming out of this string of 13 consecutive games following tonight's against first place clubs.
Deep drive right field. Springer running out of room. That one is a long shot for a 2-run homer by Mazzara, number 18 of the year. And now it's a 5-3 game.
And when you're playing good clubs, you're facing tough hitters. And I think it's been a real positive for Joe Musgrove.
18 homers, 59 runs batted in for Mazzara.
They've got a game plan. They're trying to come up with the heater. And instead of coming up, he brings it down on that inner portion of the plate. And Mazzara swings it like he did early this year.
Now we have a bullpen move, bringing in Pat Neshek for Joe Musgrove. Back in a moment. 5-3 Houston. Joe Musgrove's evening.
Slider effective early. Primarily fastball and slider early in the ball game, but he's locked up some hitters. Got a call there against Odor to get him. Mazzara, maybe the same pitch he hit for the home run, but maybe a lesson learned against Odor. Don't throw a strike late in the count.
Pat Neshek throws. Elvis Andrus takes strike one. Andrus is 1 for 10 lifetime against Neshek. He's 1 for 2 in this game. Neshek Pitched twice effectively in the Chicago Cubs series. Last 4 outings have been scoreless for Neshek. Goes with the cut fastball there, and it's 0-2.
Really nice year in terms of hits per 9 innings, under 6, 5.9 hits per 9 innings. Much better than a year ago for Pat.
He gets a swing, and that is a quick punch out for out number 2. Congratulations to Michael Feliz and his family. Is it Yater, Michael Feliz?
Yeah, I guess that's the name.
Special time for Michael. Pat Neshek has held righties to a 162 average. Actually, he's a good choice here. Now Gomez will leave for a pinch hitter, and it'll be a Jared Hoying pinch hitting for him to give Jeff Bannister a left-handed bat in there instead of Gomez.
I felt watching Neshek last year was an effective year, but he's been, statistically anyway, considerably better this year.
Hoying's been in the game in right field in the late stages, both of the first 2 games of this series. There's ball 1 to him. 206 with 5 runs batted in. Crowded by Neshek, and it's 2-0. Neshek with his 55 appearances, including this one, another durable year for him. It's 2-1. Rangers pinch hitters are 9 for 60 this season. Hoying is 0 for 7. Inside for a ball, and it's 3-1 with Ian Desmond on deck. Tough loss for the Astros last night. They led it 2-1. Texas got 2 in the 9th, scoring with 2 outs. Win it 3-2. This one rolls out to second. Tony Kemp unable to come up with it. And that's an error on Kemp on the slow roller.
You get accustomed to watching Jose Altuve, and it starts to look really easy where it's not. And Tony Kemp, it's pretty rough. You're getting all your work in the outfield, and now you're asked to make that kind of play.
Neshek will have to get another out to get out of the inning. Desmond is 1 for 3. That's strike 1. That's a second error by Kemp this season. Neshek has pitched scoreless baseball in 24 of his last 27 outings. That's an uncomfortable feeling that Kemp has right now. 1-1, especially with the way the Rangers have seized opportunities to beat the Astros this year. Like last night when they took advantage of the strikeout and wild pitch, which would have been the second out of the 9th inning, and then put together their rally. Springer and right to end it for the Rangers. They make it a closer game with 2 runs on 1 hit with an error and a man left. 5-3 Astros in the 7th.
thinking back, aren't we? Jeff Bagwell, 98, September. 24 games played, hit a cool .420. And the numbers that accompany 37 hits, 6 of those were home runs, 20 RBIs, and 19 runs scored. What a player he was. And you can almost pick up any spot in his career. I just look over the career numbers year by year. Phenomenal stuff. And we grew accustomed to watching one of the great ones play every day at first base.
Five to 3 ball game. Hoying is in right field. Mazzara in left field for Texas. A new pitcher, Alex Claudio, a left-hander, is pitcher number 3 for them tonight.
Just one hold on the season. Record 4-1 though. And talking about Michael Feliz, his nice year, having the baby, and picking up a lot of wins, playing the part of the vulture in the bullpen. Apparently that's exactly what Claudio does.
Remember Juan Augusto, your teammate?
Sure.
Called him the vulture.
I remember a guy way back when I was a kid, and it kind of stuck with me. Phil Regan was that guy, picking up, I think, about 18 wins one year, 16 maybe out of the bullpen.
He was a vulture.
I may be overstating. Elroy Face was another one of those guys.
He was a vulture. Ground ball foul by Marisnick. Major League Baseball nicknames not very inventive when it comes to relievers in that position. They're all called the same name, the vulture. Anybody who picks up a lot of wins coming in and having some good fortune in the late innings.
Well, nicknames have gone down the drain anyway. I mean, Baggy and stuff like that. You got to go back to Vinegar Ben and Sad Sam and a lot of great nicknames way back in the day.
How about Bob Ferguson, death to flying things?
Yeah. We've got one of those standing at home plate right now.
Jake Marisnick has put away a few flying things. It's 1-2. Now, somebody on the post-game radio talk show was wondering why Marisnick was playing so shallow last night on the triple by Andrus over his head. And I asked the manager, A.J. Hinch, tonight, was he playing in the right place? He said, yes, he was. That's where we want him. And of course, that question always comes up when a ball's hit over an outfielder's head.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, if you could only know exactly what the hitter was going to do.
Yeah, if you could only know. Off the end of the bat to right field, Hoying, 1 out. But Marisnick, first of all, goes back very well on balls, and he's more likely to take a hit away in front of him by playing a little bit shallower and coming in and making that play. And it just happened to be bad luck.
I think I heard that was the longest distance ball hit this year by why can't I think of his name? Elvis Andrus.
Elvis Andrus,
and
really?
so if that was the case, then you're playing the percentages, saying he doesn't drive the ball that far.
Strike to George Springer. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Had the leadoff homer. Will Harris is working in the Astros bullpen. Ken Giles pitched 2 innings Monday night and 1 inning last night. So it's unlikely that he's available. Here's the Springer home run.
Academy Sports and Outdoors and the Houston Astros are hitting home runs. Is that appropriate? Okay, we'll go back and reflect on that. Just looking at George Springer with that towering home run. I think that fooled a few people.
Two and one. Yeah, and as a friend points out on Twitter, consider the positioning of Marisnick with the runner at second and 2 outs when Andrus was batting. And that runner represented the potential tying run. That has something to do with positioning.
Yeah.
2 balls, 2 outs.
Now this much I know, Jake can go get it with the best in the game. Has not had a real friendly relationship with the bat this year.
Well, some players take their bats to bed with them. Would that make it a more friendly relationship?
Oh, I'll bet it's been tried.
Outside, 3-2. And he struck him out. 2 outs.
Hey, let's try this again. Academy Sports and Outdoors and the Houston Astros are hitting home runs for Houston. Most home runs in a single month all time by the Astros. Who else? Jeff Bagwell. He's had a couple of spots there at the top. Moises Alou, Ty Wigginton. And Chris Carter. It's a lot of home runs in a single month, but no surprise for me that Jeff Bagwell's up there.
No.
Might not have been surprised to see Jimmy win as well.
Tony Camp, who went into pinch run in the 6th inning. For Alex Bregman. Looks at ball 1. Camp, a .225 hitter, has no homers, 5 runs batted in. He's had 89 at bats. Tony 3 for 15 pinch hitting. This is not considered a pinch hit at bat, though. Even though, you know, I think it's legitimate to consider it that way because he had to come off the bench. And he did go into pinch run and played a little bit at second base, but still his first at bat of the game in the 7th inning. But that's not the way statistics do it. 1-2. Detroit beat Minnesota 9-7. Miguel Cabrera hit his 33rd home run. Ryan Dozier his 41st for the losing Twins. Kemp taps it foul. 1-2.
Yeah, we were talking about some of the names that might get involved in the MVP voting. We're not trying to name the guy that's going to win it, but some names that'll be in the conversation. Edwin Encarnacion of the Toronto Blue Jays. Brian Dozier, you just talked about him. It's should be interesting to watch how it plays out.
Donaldson. Struck him out to end the 7th inning. We go to the 8th, 5-3 Houston.
Get a behind-the-scenes look at places like historic Union Station, luxury suites, the Diamond Club, and much more with a tour of Minute Maid Park. For more information, visit astros.com/tours or call 713-259-8996 to schedule your tour today. Brownie.
Thanks, Julius. So you want to be a manager?
Oh, not me.
No, I'm out.
You're out. And we'd all be out after this game, right? With multiple player changes. Here's Will Harris coming out of the bullpen for the Astros. We have other changes to tell you about. He's 12 for 15 in saves. He has 11 straight shutout appearances. He's pitched well against the Rangers, and he faces Carlos Beltran leading off the 8th. Throwing strike one. Pat Neshek did an excellent job working around that 7th inning error. 2/3 of an inning. No hits, no runs, no walks, and 1 strikeout. Yuli Gurriel has moved from DH to third base. No balls, 2 strikes. Tony Kemp out of the game. Marwin Gonzalez moving from third base back to second. And Marwin has played first base, second base, third base, and second base. So he's played 3 different positions, but he's made 4 moves. Crazy game here. Grounded, and here's Correa. Well, the Astros have used 2 first basemen, 3 second basemen, and 3 third basemen in this game. And now with Gurriel going in to play third base, he was the DH. A.J. Hinch has chosen to lose his DH.
Which means the pitcher hits, and Will Harris can go home and tell stories about how he was batting second in the Astros lineup at one time this year.
Adrian Beltre is 0 for 3. This is one taxing game for the Astros skipper, dealing with the 2 injuries to Altuve and Bregman, both of whom left the game with those injuries. Ball 1 to Beltre. Rougned Odor on deck. He always seems to be a factor when these 2 teams are playing. (2-0) to Beltre. Now with that 1-0 win for Baltimore over Boston, the Red Sox lead over the Orioles is 1 game. It's 2 games over Toronto, and still 4 over the Yankees, who lost to the Dodgers. Rammed to right center field. Beltre will head for second base. That one gets to the wall. A 1-out double, 26th of the year for Beltre. And the potential tying run comes up in Odor.
Adrian Beltre doesn't miss many that are in those happy hitting zones.
Pinch runner. Delino DeShields goes in for Beltre.
What a player.
See him come out of many games.
No, very unusual, and I don't know what's going on there, but his defense is too strong to remove late in the game.
Well, perhaps some kind of a nagging leg injury. For whatever reason, he's out. DeShields is in at second base. And Odor is the batter. He's 0 for 3. Odor is now 10th in total bases in the American League. Tonight he's grounded out and struck out twice. It's ball 1. So Harris is in that number 2 spot, as you indicated, Ash, in the lineup. And that means A.J. Hinch has some time to make a move, because that was the last out made by the number 2 hitter in the last inning. 1-1. That's the way managers like to do it. They like to have that pitcher in the spot they furthest from what they will be seeing next. And of course, AJ's hoping that he doesn't have a bottom of the 9th inning.
I don't know what the actual number is this year, but that is the 3rd time that I can remember the Astros having the pitcher actually have to be inserted.
Sounds right. It would not be a factor if the Astros maintain this lead, of course. And the pitcher spot would not come up in the 8th inning unless they had a tremendous rally. And Harris typically pitches 1 inning, but maybe not tonight. I don't know if Luke Gregerson is available or not. White tossing, and Harris is there for the 3-1 play for out number 2. DeShields taking third.
I know Tyler White and A.J. Reed and others have been getting a lot of extra work in the case of White and Reed down at first base and taking those bounce throws that infielders provide at times and fielding balls with different throwing assignments. A lot of work has been put in.
Now this might be a 2-inning save. Asked of Harris. We'll see. Jonathan Lucroy is 0 for 3. Tanner Shepard's warming up for Texas. Foul back with a good cut by Lucroy. There's strike 1.
So tomorrow's off day would be the buffer there if it does turn out to be a 2-inning job.
Correct. Harris is pitching in all 3 games in this series. Gregerson has pitched in the first 2. As has Giles. Giles pitched 2 innings in game 1. So it's down to that point for this Astros bullpen. Really reaching deep now. Curveball, and it's a ball. 1-1 for Lucroy. Last 11 games for Will Harris. 10 2/3 innings, 5 hits, no runs, 4 walks, 13 strikeouts. Oakland is torching Kansas City 8-0 in the bottom of the 9th. 1-2. Harris got his 24th hold in last night's game, throwing 19 pitches. 2-2. He needed only 11 pitches the night before. And that helps keep a reliever in play when he's that efficient. Full count to Lucroy. Jorts and Profar on deck. A group from LSU was here before the game. Will involved with the meeting and spending some time with that group. No doubt Alex Bregman was involved too. Time call. Five, 8-1 for Houston. 3-6-0 for Texas. Not bedtime yet. Lucroy fouls it. Good pitch, but he's able to hang in at 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Bedtime, Brownie, may not come until some wee hours tomorrow morning.
Tell you what, the way, yeah, you guys with that long trip coming up, that's a long flight to Seattle. How long? About 3.5 hours or so?
Oh, yeah, it might be a little more than that even, but settle in.
Now Luke Gregerson is warming up for Houston. Up the middle, and that one goes for a hit. It's 5-4. A diving play by Marwin Gonzalez, but unable to prevent the RBI single by Lucroy. And it's a 5-4 lead now.
Well, you knew it wasn't going to go down easily tonight. That little cutter away and the ground ball right back up the middle. Marwin makes a heck of a diving play. That really would factor in with a runner at second base, but not so much here.
Well, it was 5-1 after 6. Texas got 2 in the 7th. Now another one in the 8th. Brent Strom is coming out. 16 pitches have been thrown by Will Harris, and Profar will be the batter. This is a dicey kind of an evening for A.J. Hinch with the fatigue factor in his bullpen. Gregerson warming up, and also the injury factor on the infield tonight. Astros will have their 3, 4, 5 hitters due up in the last of the inning. They are White, Correa, and Gurriel. This is the 60th appearance for Will Harris. Ken Giles has 62 to lead the club. So far ready to hit. Ball one. Harris had 68 appearances last season. Will had elbow trouble early in his career. That gets the corner. 1-1 to Profar. Well, these two teams have played some dandy games this year.
Yeah, the results have not been dandy from the Astros perspective, but
a lot of close ones. First series in Texas back in April. The Rangers won 7-5, 2-1, 7-4. Then they swept the Astros here in May, 2-1, 2-1, and 9-2. And just a lot of one-run games, as we mentioned earlier, involved 9 of them in this season series so far. Rangers have 2 series sweeps against the Astros. 2 balls and a strike. They're going for another one here.
a curveball over the top can be highly deceptive.
He went down on a knee and swung at it. Profar's at 2-2 in the count. Kicks at the dirt. Mazzara is on deck.
And then he come right up top with that heater, and that variance of looks quite tough on the hitters.
Strike 3 call. That's a big one for Houston. 1 run on 2 hits and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. 5-4 Astros.
This evening. Thanks for voting in our poll and following us at Root Sports SW. If you were building a team, which kind of player would you start with? You could be the GM for a day. 46% of you start with a hard-throwing ace, and then comes potential young star, and then established veteran star. All right. That's what the viewers think, guys. What do you think?
Well, let's see. Building a team. Got to go with down the road approach, don't you, Ash?
Yeah, you know, how old is that veteran star? And how about that hard throwing ace that might have his arm break down next month? And it's all confusing. It's hard to go against a Mike Trout or whether it's Carlos Correa or wherever you want to look, that young guy who just might tear it up for years to come.
Yeah, I think that would be the guy. Tyler White grounded out in the 6th inning. Changes on the infield for the Rangers. Profar's moved to third. Mitch Moreland's in at first base. In for a strike. Tyler grounding out in the 6th inning. He's hitting in Jose Altuve's spot. Carlos Correa and Yuli Gurriel to follow here in the Astros 8th against Alex Claudio. Little roller. Claudio. Whoops. That didn't work out. Infield hit for White.
Well, that's not what you anticipate with Tyler White. With that little knee drop play didn't work out so well for Claudio. Look at Tyler digging out of the box. You quickly learn that every hit is precious.
Claudio tried to make that sliding play, but it didn't slide. He bounced. White has the infield hit.
I think Tyler might be running better than we saw at some earlier stages in the season.
Before I get there, 9 hits for Houston now. Carlos Correa has struck out twice. He's been walked intentionally and scored a run.
So we call Tyler svelte.
Yep.
Let's see if we can get Carlos Correa to come out of that cautious cocoon that he's been in a little bit. He takes a very aggressive swing early.
Larry Dierker has told a story about one of his former broadcast partners many years ago using that word svelte incorrectly.
I'd love to hear the outcome of that one.
Apparently it was a very warm day wherever they were. And his partner said it sure is svelte up here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, maybe you know, with a good sweating day like that, maybe he was feeling svelte at that point.
Maybe so. It's 1-2. Mazara, Andrews, and Hoying are due up in the 9th for Texas.
I take it was the partner that used the word that way.
Oh yeah, Larry wouldn't do that. You know, he'd never.
Gotcha. Like I didn't know that.
2-2. Larry was an English major.
Yeah. Well, all you have to do is read some of his articles and stuff. You know he's got it together.
Yes. He's got his 70th birthday golf tournament for charity coming up on the 22nd.
You can only do that once.
Popped up. Moreland coming in. That's one out.
2016 Coca-Cola Astros Buddies memberships are on sale right now for only $25. Buddies members get a voucher for 4 tickets to an Astros game, VIP access to Kids Run the Bases, exclusive autograph sessions, and more. Memberships for kids up to 12 years of age are available by visiting astros.com/buddies.
Jeff Bannister, who grew up in the Houston area, actually sneaked into the Astrodome as a fan a few times. He's keeping this one close. You know the Rangers feeling in one-run games. They're down by 1. He wants to make a move here with Gurriel coming up next. We'll be back right after this. They bat in the 8th inning with White on at first, 1 out. Gurriel the batter. Gurriel is 1 for 3, an RBI single in the 6th inning. And Tanner Scheppers has come out of the bullpen for Texas. He has just returned from the 60-day disabled list. In his career, he's 12-5 with a 4.09 ERA, 3 saves. But Rangers are quite encouraged with the way Tanner Scheppers has thrown since returning, and he worked a 1-2-3 ninth last night to get his first save of the year. One hopper goes foul for Profar. And Gurriel is behind 0-1 in the count. Chatting with Tom Grieve, who used to be the general manager of the Rangers. He's been one of their fine television broadcasters for many years. We had that talk. You know, the Rangers, when they're down by 1 late, just have that feeling they're going to win. 1-1.
Yeah, that's that mental side of the game. And again, it doesn't matter how they've done it and what all the numbers look like. You start winning and it breeds winning.
Did it again last night. 2-1. Gaddis is on deck. That was the 3rd career save for Scheppers last night, his first since August of 13, though. He's pitching now for the 4th time in the Rangers' last 5 games. Since he came off the DL, he's retired all 10 batters he's faced, 3 1/3 scoreless. Fouled, and it's 2-2. Scheppers has come back from microfracture surgery on his left knee. That was last year. (3-2) to Gurriel. His younger brother Lourdes has had a workout for any major league club interested in signing him.
And did he work out as a shortstop?
I believe that's the way they're marketing him, from what I'm hearing.
I guess I'd ask, is he willing to move positions?
Well, hit to left field, and that's going to be extra bases off the bullpen fence. Stop sign at third for White. Double for Gurriel. He's 2 for 4 tonight. That's his 4th 2-base hit. Runners at second and third, 1 out for Gaddis now.
Yuli is thoroughly impressive with the bat. And I don't think it has taken many of us very long to realize why he was such a highly sought after international star.
He worked the count full and then really ripped one. Intentional walk now ordered to Gaddis. This will load the bases. Marlon Gonzalez will be batting with 1 out and the bases full. Marlins 0 for 3 tonight.
Well, that intentional pass of Correa in the 6th inning didn't work out real well for the Rangers. See if you keep things going in that vein.
Gaddis draws the free pass. Marlon Gonzalez 1 for 8 with the bases loaded this season. Comes up. It's the 28th intentional walk to an Astro this year. Jose Altuve has 10 of those. Doug Brocail is hurrying to the mound. Will force at any base. Big situation here for Houston if it's going to be Luke Gregerson or not, to get more than a 1-run lead going to the 9th. Gregerson continues to warm up in the pen. team, the Astros are hitting just 257 in bases loaded at bats this year. An opportunity to give whoever works the ninth more room. Teoscar Hernandez is on deck.
257, those 9 points higher than their average as a club over the course of the season.
Well, good point. That's strike one. The infield is playing Marwin to pull. Andrews, the shortstop, is behind second base. Profar halfway between second and third at the edge of the grass. In case the ball is topped, he could make the throw home for a force play. In the dirt, good stop by Lucroy.
He is very committed to keeping balls in front. Now, this is a tough one, but that's selling out right there.
Way outside. Lucroy had to go the other direction for that one. It's 2-1 now.
It's amazing how that pitch can mess with you as a catcher after you have committed to blocking pitch after pitch.
Called by Marwin. Takes a close one, ball three, now 3-1, and that puts Sheppers right behind the 8 ball on this pitch. Ground ball and on through. White scores. And Gurriel scores a 2-run single. Marwin Gonzalez, 7-4 Houston. 42 runs batted in, and a great job of hitting it hard through the shift.
Talking about that ball that Marwin dove to glove, where in a different scenario with a man at second base can be very big. In this case, the Rangers don't keep the ball in the infield, and it creates a couple of runs, and Marwin is the guy who comes up with a big knock. And by the way, Gurriel is running the bases well.
Awfully big hit for the Astros. Marwin drives in a pair, prompting another pitching change by Jeff Bannister. 7-4 Houston. Back in a moment. hits now. Marwin Gonzalez now with 42 runs batted in has given them a cushion. And Chris Davinsky has started to throw in the bullpen. Meanwhile, for Texas, it's lefty Jake Diekman coming in. He's 4-2 with 24 holds and a 3.47 ERA.
He's got very good stuff. Quite filthy, and any left-hand hitter knows that you don't want to see this guy on the hill. And yet it's exactly who Colby gets to face now.
And it is Colby Rasmus. Marwin's a beast.
There were days when that wouldn't have been a compliment.
It's the G-men tonight. Gurriel with 2 hits and an RBI. Gaddis 2 hits and an RBI. Gonzalez 2 runs batted in. Rasmus 210, 15 homers. Pinch hitting for Teoscar Hernandez, and it's ball 1. Hernandez had a 2-run homer in the second. He was 1 for 3. Rasmus has had 362 at bats, 0 for 4 pinch hitting. Jake Marisnick on deck. It's a strike. 1-1. Sheppers did not retire a batter, giving up 2 hits and walking a man intentionally. You talked about Diekman and his terrific stuff, and he's got to be so difficult for a left-handed batter, the way he steps. He delivers that ball, Ash.
Chris Sale is the starter that has that type of delivery. Just leaves you uncomfortable. It doesn't matter which side of the plate you stand on.
Goes across his body, 2-2.
A long time ago, there was a guy named Frank Tanana who would have that same type of delivery. And before he hurt his arm, he and Nolan Ryan were that tandem, that pairing that brought fear into hitters' hearts when you were going to face the Angels for a while.
They were. That was a strikeout fest when those two guys pitched in the series.
That it was, and there was no 100 pitch limit in those days. It might have been more like around 250 pitch limit.
Yeah, it could have been. Gregerson continues to throw while Davinsky joins him. So perhaps if it's a 3-run lead, a safe situation, it's Gregerson. More than that, perhaps Davinsky. We'll see. That's a strikeout, out number 2. Tough at bat.
That's not a comfortable walk back to the dugout, but there's not much you can do right there.
Yeah. Now Jake Marisnick. Jake's 0 for 3. Alex Claudio in 1 1/3 innings allowed 1 hit, 1 run with no walks, 2 strikeouts. Rangers 8, 9 and 1 hitters are due up in the 9th. Zara, Andrus, and Hoying. It's ball 1. Gaddis is the runner at 3rd. Across the diamond from him, Marwin Gonzalez. Foul ball. The Astros won the last game of the series in Texas, September 4th. But it's just been so difficult for them. They dropped the first 8 games of the season series before winning one. And won 1 game of the series here in early August. Two and 1. Seattle and the Angels have played 2.5, no score in Anaheim. Foul tip, but it's 2-2. Shot up the middle, and that's on through for Marisnick to make it 8-4. An RBI single for Jake. 16th run batted in.
Yeah, the only guy on the Astros side of things that can be disappointed about this is a guy coming in to pitch the ninth inning trying to pick up a save. Otherwise, it is pure jubilation.
Good swing by Marisnick. Banging that one off the mound. It went on through. The Astros have peppered the Rangers with a dozen hits tonight. George Springer started the night offensively with a homer. He's 2 for 4. Strike one for Diekman. Back in '95, the Reds went 12-1 against the Astros. That's one of the most dominant years a team has had against Houston in divisional play. In '96, the Cardinals were 11-2 against Houston. The Rangers 15-3 this year so far. And those Astros teams in '95, '96 were second-place clubs, pretty good teams. But then in '97, they started that string of winning division titles in 4 or 5 years, and they were able to reverse those records against those clubs who had dominated them.
And maybe the best all-time team, '98.
Yeah. Springer's down on strikes to end the 8th inning. 8 Astros bat in the frame. 3 of them score. It's 8-4 moving to the 9th. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Buy Brake Check. Every 4th oil change is free, even on synthetic. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Astros did some scoring with 3 more runs coming home in the 8th inning. They lead it 8-4, moving to the 9th. Changes for Houston. New pitcher, new left fielder. As the Astros try to nail this one down, it's Chris Davinsky coming in to work the 9th inning, and Colby Rasmussen left field.
44th appearance on the year for a guy that has been one of the most valuable players on this club this year. If he can get through this inning, he'll be right at 100 innings pitched.
Omar Mazara, first man up. He hit the 2-run homer in the 7th inning. He's 2 for 3. That's strike one for Devo. With the 100-inning figure you talked about, that's a pretty good sample size for a guy who's pitched both as a starter and in different relief roles, and he's coming in for more and more mentions as one of the top rookies in baseball this year. Ash.
Walks few, keeps the ball in the ballpark. Great figure there, and strikes out quite a few. Break the occasional catcher's mitt.
Took care of that one. Will Harrison 1 inning, allowed 2 hits and 1 run, no walks and 1 strikeout. And for a strike. 0-2 to Mazara. There's a rumor that the Yankees have signed free agent Billy Butler to a major league deal. Not yet confirmed. He was released by Oakland.
Coming to strengthen that clubhouse. Yeah, they had fisticuffs out in Oakland, and I just heard some rumors that maybe he wasn't the most popular guy in there.
Well, one thing is almost for sure: the Yankees probably will not trade for Danny Valencia now.
Well, that would be a bad pairing,
since they duked it out. But Butler went on the disabled list with the concussion after that.
Yeah, which would say that Danny Valencia apparently handled himself pretty well. Another guy who there have been question marks about on that personal side, but
yes, they have.
Apparently the two didn't get along real well.
Changeup got him. 1 out. 10th strikeout by an Astros pitcher.
Davinsky has that great changeup. That's really tough to tell the way that's coming out of the hand, but he turns it over deep in the hand, that circle change, and he commits to throwing it as hard as he can, sells it to the hitter, and they swing at arm speed.
Strike one to Elvis Andrus, who's 1 for 3.
Okay, if you're going to try to learn to throw a changeup, it's not about throwing something slow. It's about throwing a pitch that you have a grip you trust, and you throw it as hard as you can and let the speed come off because of the grip.
Up the middle, backhand. Whoa, that ball took a bad hop on Morrow, and he tries it, but safe at first. Good recovery, but ball seemed to come up on him as he attempted to backhand it, and it's a hit.
It certainly did. I think otherwise Marwin makes that play. Watch this hop right here come up more than he anticipated.
Got him on the elbow. Good try at a recovery play. Andrus on for the 2nd time tonight. Jared Hoying reached on the error in the 7th inning by Tony Kemp. That's ball 1. By the way, we talked earlier about the fact that the pitcher was batting in the 2nd spot in the order for Houston, and Max Stassi was in the on-deck circle. Had the 8th inning continued to pinch hit for the pitcher Harris. So that almost did happen as they lost the DH. 1-1. In the dirt, Gaddis keeps it close. 2 balls and a strike.
There's a grinder back there. Some of the techniques probably could use further refinement, but nobody battles harder.
Hoying looks at it. It's a strike, and 2-2. Desmond's on deck.
Just floats that changeup right through.
Three balls, 2 strikes.
having 95 to turn to doesn't hurt the cause of that changeup a bit.
And loop foul.
Well, that speaks to the confidence in that changeup. Comes to it on the 3-2 in a scenario where you just cannot walk a man.
Fouled away. And Davinsky rarely does. In his 100th inning, he has 19 walks, 89 strikeouts. Andrews back to first. Davinsky leads Major League rookies in ERA and opponent batting average, a .205 batting average against him. Foul ball. Hoying still alive. Devo threw a scoreless inning Monday night. And he has 8 straight scoreless outings now. He got a hold against the Cubs on Saturday in the 2-1 Astros win. Been coming in for very important roles in the bullpen lately. He swung and struck out. 2 outs.
Devo shook off 2 or 3 signs. And I don't know if he did that to intentionally try to get Hoying thinking, but he came right back to the changeup, inducing that half swing. And a good call.
That's 90 strikeouts in his 100th inning. And Ian Desmond is 1 for 4. Beltran on deck. Strike to Desmond. And number 76 is the Astros goal. They're 75 and 70. 1-1. AJ Hinch has been bombarded with all kinds of negative questions about why the Astros can't beat the Rangers. They're trying to finish up the season series 4-15 against Texas. Fly ball left field. Rasmus waiting. And the Astros do end the season series with a win. 8-4 over the Rangers. They go to 76 and 70. Finishing up a homestand with a 2-4 record. Joe Musgrove winning his 3rd of the year. And he's pitched well twice in his 3 starts against Texas. Final score, Houston 8, Texas 4.